just a normal guy with a curious fascination for unarmed combat. Mixed martial arts is basically the purest form of unarmed combat known to man. It involves all disciplines, all combat disciplines: boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, taekwondo, karate, jiu-jitsu. It's just a pure combat.
Conor, given the tradition of sport in this country, we have a proud tradition of Gaelic games, soccer, rugby and all the rest. How does a young lad from Crumlin get into mixed martial arts?
Well, I was no different growing up. I was always into football. I mean, growing up where I'm from, there's two things you were known for. You were either good at playing football or you could fight. And I was no different. Fighting was always something I was interested in. Football was what I wanted to do. Football was my first dreams. I always dreamt of playing. I always used to go out on my own. I was like 7, 8 years old, put on my football boots and run up and down kicking the ball, dreaming of playing in front of a big stadium. But just growing up then, I realised that I needed to be able to defend myself in certain situations. I just wanted to be able to defend myself, and it led. That.
You keep mentioning there that you're doing this, or you had, when you were starting out, you were doing it to defend yourself. Were you bullied when you were younger?
I definitely wasn't bullied. I definitely wasn't bullied. But you know, as you're growing up and you're walking around, and I used to live in a little estate, and when you explore outside that estate, you start meeting new people, and then fights would happen. You know what I mean? Young boys would fight. But it just stuck in my head a little bit more. And something like that happened. It was always in my head. I go back and think about it. I think about what happened, what position happened, and just think about things. I wasn't necessarily bullied or nothing like that. You know what I mean? Have my friends grew up. It's just Crumlin's a tough area. You know what I mean? It's just the way it was as growing up. But it just probably, like, maybe people might just went on with it and forgot about it. Me, I just kind of sat back and thought about it a lot more, and it led me to the gym.
This is your life. It's your job. Did you ever have, let's call it a normal job, Conor, a 9 to 5?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the Irish thing is to get into a trade straight away. I was no different. As soon as I finished school, I was always getting pestered. What are you doing with your life? You're doing this, doing that. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know if MMA was. They didn't know what none of this. They didn't know I could make a career out of it. As far as they were concerned, my man and dad I'm talking about, as far as they were concerned, I was just getting into a cage and fighting with some other guy. They didn't know nothing about it. No one did, really. But I knew. You know what I mean? I knew. But and then I ended up getting a trade just to keep them quiet. Because I used to have a lot of fights with my dad.
What trade did you get?
I ended up getting a trade as a plumber. Literally up in the back arse of nowhere, up in the Wicklow Mountains. And funny enough, that site was one of the biggest sites in Europe. Kiltern. It was right at that skiing place. Huge. And now it's just abandoned. Now it's just deserted. So I used to go up there 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. I was on that M50. I used to have to walk to the N4. About half an hour from my house, wait for some Limerick guy that I didn't even know. He'd drive on the M4 and I had to flag him down. Nightmare, yeah. 2 hours down on the M50, 2 hours back. It was like 14-hour days, and I was the first year, so I had to go and do everything. I had to go to the shop. I had to go and get this and get that. So I always had trouble with that. I was like, this isn't for me. This is not for me.
How long did you last?
I lasted 18 months doing it, but it was tough. You know what I mean? It wasn't a life for me. You know what I mean? And then John said, because I was training with John as well at the time. And then John got in touch and says, I have a show, I'm running a show, I'd like to fight on it. And then that was it. I just packed it in, didn't show up. My dad used to come in and punch the head on me and like try and drag me out of bed. And I just wouldn't go. You know what I mean? I had an uproar for a good few years with him over, but and that was it. I just packed it in, quit, and then focused on training. And I knew what was going to happen. I knew I was going to get here. They didn't. There's a lot of stressful years, you know what I mean? A lot of tough times. But I proved them wrong. I proved myself right.
What makes you such a good fighter?
I don't know. I'm just curious about it. It's never. I mean, it's in my head 24/7. There's nothing else I can think of. I don't think about nothing else. If that's it. I'm just curious. Curiously fascinated with it. and I can't stop thinking about it. Everything I do in my life is related to this. I don't do nothing else if it's not got to do with fighting. You know what I mean? And that is why. You know what I mean? To be true.
Is that nearly?
All you've got to do is show up.
Is that not unhealthy?
I don't know. Do I look unhealthy? Take a look at this physique. I'm in phenomenal shape, in body and mind. To me, what's unhealthy is living an unhealthy life. To me, what's unhealthy is getting up and going through the same day every day of your life, 9 to 5, in an office or in a. You know, that's unhealthy. That beats your mind. I don't work. I love what I do, and that's why I'm doing what I love. You know what I mean? That's why it's become a career for me, because I love it. I love what I do. So I don't think it's unhealthy. I feel good in my mind. I mean, it's my life.
What has the last 6-7 months been like for you, Conor?
A lot different. You know, I get a lot more spotlight is on now. I'm no different. I don't do nothing any different. I still come to the gym. There's people trying to get me to do this and get me to do that. But I know that in order to be successful at this game, it needs to be 24/7. I need to be living in this gym. And that's since this new facility, SBG Concord, has opened up. The setup now is I come here at 1, 2 o'clock in the day and I'm here till 10 o'clock at night. There's no outside distraction. There's no nothing. It's been crazy. The spotlight is on. The Irish public are watching. But it's what we planned. It's what we prepared. I knew I was going to be the person to bring martial arts to the public eye. And now it's happening. You know what I mean? There's 2 things I've learned from these past 7 months. Number 1 is that hard work pays off. And number 2 is that dreams come true. And that's what's happening.
Final one for you. I want to know what you want to achieve. Is it the fame? Is it to be champion? Is it the money? What do you want from this career?
I don't care nothing about fame. Yeah? I don't care about fame. The gold belt is what I want. The 2 gold belts. I was a 2-weight world champion in the previous organization. Now I'm on the big stage at the UFC. I want that featherweight belt and I want that light belt. That's my goal. The money is going to come with that. Don't get me wrong. How's it going? Welcome to Shinobi Vlog. My name is Conor McGregor. I'm a mixed martial artist with the Ultimate Fighting Championship. And I am from Dublin, Ireland.
What inspires you?
I don't know, I take inspiration from everything, you know what I mean? I don't really have one set thing that inspires me. I try and take inspiration from everything. People just going out there and putting themselves out there, trying to chase something down, whatever it is. It could be martial arts, it could be anything. This guy chasing a college degree, you know what I mean? I'm inspired by everything. Someone chasing their dreams is what inspires me.
What has martial arts done for you?
Martial arts has given me a focus. You know, I don't know where I would be without martial arts in my life. You know, anytime I've drifted away from training, or I don't know, I just simply lose focus. But when I'm on martial arts is my life. It just gives me dedication. You know what I mean? It gives me a drive. Something that nothing else could do for me.
What scares you most?
I don't know. I don't really fear too much. I don't really fear anything, to be honest. I don't really think about things like that. You know, nothing fears me. People might expect me to say losing or defeat. Defeat isn't something that fears me. You know, success isn't something that inspires me either. You know, I mean, success doesn't inspire me, and fear doesn't. Defeat doesn't fear me. So I don't know. I don't think about that. I just go through my life, you know, and do my thing.
You go back in time 5 years, you meet yourself, what do you say?
If I go back 5 years from now,
Yeah.
I don't know, just stick with it, you know what I mean? Keep doing what you do. It's gonna happen for you. You know, so 19, I would have been. 19 was probably the age I was thinking in my head, saying, like, this is it. If I do this, I can make this happen. That's what I was thinking when I was 19 years old. I knew, you know, when you know something, you know, I just knew. And I wasn't no angel, you know, I wasn't a saint. I was in and out of trouble and doing all sorts of shit, you know. Like 5 years from now, I'm saying, just stick with it, it's gonna happen for you.
Last one.
Yeah.
What do you want to be?
the same. No, this is my first time. My first time in America, my first time, and Vegas is the first country or the first place to visit in America. You know, what a place to visit for your first one. Yeah, I love it out here. I really like it out here. Huh? It's a freaky town. Bunch of freaky people, eh? 100%. 100% I'll be the UFC featherweight champion. I don't feel pressure. I don't feel pressure. I mean, put more pressure on me because right now I don't feel no pressure. You know what I mean? So I don't feel pressure. People say I've got the weight of the nation on my shoulders. You know what I mean? Well then throw a few more nations on because I don't feel that weight. You know what I mean? Throw Scotland on there. Throw them all on because I don't feel it. You know what I mean? I'm doing what I'm doing. I've been feeling like this guy all the time. You know what I mean? So I feel like the champ already. You know what I mean? So keep going, keep doing my thing. And open doors for everyone. You know what I mean? This is what I want to do. This as well as lead the way. I'm leading the way for my countrymen and the European or the Irish scene, of course. You know what I mean? And maybe the Scottish and the Welsh and all those other nations. You know, I want to help open the doors for those guys. You know, show them that we can do this. We can compete. And we're not here to fuck about. You know what I mean? Our level is as good as all over the world. You know what I mean? So we're only getting started though. Sometimes I might, like, let's say I'm looking at some guy fighting and then I'll try and do some of the shit he's doing. You know what I mean? I'll try and practice that shit as well. You know what I mean? Like Diaz and all that, they were kind of doing their thing. I start approaching my boxing a little bit like that, you know, and then looking at Anderson, the way he approached it, and then taking some things from him, and then taking some things from Chuck, and taking some things from George. I approach this game with a learning mind, you know what I mean? I'm open to it all, and I'm looking to make my body. I can move in many ways, you know what I mean? That's because the reason I can move in many ways is because I'm open to all styles. I look to study everyone, you know what I mean? So in order to be successful at this game, you need to be able to move in multiple ways, you know what I mean? There is many ways that the human body can move to attack and to defend itself, you know what I mean? And there's so many moves that have not been seen yet, you know what I mean? I have some shots in the book that just have not been seen yet, and I look forward to showing them, you know, showing what I'm about. Having some little 23-year-old kid or whatever in this seat in a few years' time talking about me like I'm talking about Chuck and talking about Anderson and talking about those guys, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm looking for, you know what I mean? To build a legacy and to be remembered as one of the greats. Sorry, I'm popping again. I like to move a little bit, you know? I was talking about them movements. No. Here's another thing about rituals, yeah? Rituals. Rituals is another word for fear. Oh man, I forgot my lucky pants. I'm gonna lose. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? What? Lucky pants? Or lucky something? Or I have to drink this before I go out? Or I have to bless myself 55 times and do. You know what I mean? It's all just another word for fear. You're afraid. So you're trying to tell yourself, I need to do this. I've done this before and it worked. This little detail that I done in my warm-up or something, I've done that and it worked. Now I must always do it. You could throw me in there any time. You know what I mean? You could throw me in there. I don't need no rituals. You could warm me up. I could warm up in this chair. You know what I mean? And throw me out there and I'm still gonna perform. I'm still gonna go out and do what I do. There is no rituals. Rituals to me is another word for fear. Superstitions and all that shit. Just another word for fear. And I don't fear nothing. No, there is no excuse, you know what I mean? It's, like I've been beat before, you know what I mean? I've lost MMA fights, I've lost boxing fights, I've lost so many fights in the gym, you know, I lose all the time, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. If you, any true martial artist will know, in order to succeed at this game, you must lose a fucking shitload of times, you know what I mean? You must lose many times, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. We all have the same emotions, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's at the end of the day, it's me in one dress. It's one guy in one dressing room, and it's the other guy in another dressing room. Two of them scared shitless. You know what I mean? Who's gonna be more scared? You know what I mean? So I don't bitch and moan. We all have the same emotions. We have all won and we have all lost. It's a sport. It is what it is. You know, just get on with it. Look to learn from it. You know, the day you stop trying to learn is the day you start losing. You know what I mean? So I'm always gonna learn regardless of the result. You know what I mean? Win or lose, I will take something from it all. And you know the way people say you learn more from your losses and things like that. That is true. You learn a lot from your losses, but as well as that, you learn from your wins. People can say, let's say you beat a guy, and you're at the beating that guy. You're a winner now. You know what I mean? You're a winner. So now I get to take the foot off the pedal. I don't need to learn so much. I'm at the beating this guy. I'm a winner. You know what I mean? That's gonna stop you. That can take over people, especially in this game. When you're signed to the UFC and there's all media things going on and there's people looking for pictures and shit. That can take over. That can make you feel like you're bigger than you are. You know what I mean? That happens to guys. You ever see guys that I see guys all the time coming in that are around this company since day one, and their performances just stay the same. They stagnate. You know what I mean? That's the word, stagnate. Their performances stagnate, and then they get even worse. You know, they arrive on for the fight out of shape, not looking in shape, barely made weight, sloppy, sluggish. You know what I mean? That's not gonna be me. I stay ready. I'm always in shape. You know what I mean? You're not gonna catch me out of shape. Win or lose, I'm gonna be ready to go. No ego. You know, you can't have an ego in this game. We've all won, we've all lost. It is what it is. Just keep going, keep doing your thing, keep working hard. The definition of a martial artist is an open mind. Is open to all styles of combat. He never questions anything. Never has. Nothing is ever wrong. You know, you ever see guys? We do this and that's wrong. I do things this way, and that way is wrong. What are you doing that way? That way is wrong. You know what I mean? Nothing is wrong. Like I said before, everything works. A true martial artist has an open mind. And of course, a true martial artist is peaceful. You know what I mean? Peaceful in his approach to life. And that to me is a true martial artist. And that's what I'm still learning. You know what I mean? I try and be peaceful all of the sometimes. You know, sometimes I say some shit and I get myself in trouble and all, but again, I'm still only learning. But to me, a martial artist has an open mind and is peaceful. Yeah, it's still. She's still a nipper, all right. But it's growing every day. You know, the sky's the limit with this sport. It's branching out into different nations, and when the stars are merged from each nation, you know what I mean, they're going to bring countries with them. You know what I mean? So this is only early days. You know what I mean? So the sky's the limit, and then when we get to the sky, in his space, you know what I mean? You're good. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, man. Yeah.
Work without reward. Work without reward, right? First thing first, you're just doing the work. You're being disciplined, you're being consistent. You're doing it every single day, repetitively, over and over and over and over again. But you're just not seeing the reward. Why are we not seeing the rewards and we're doing it over and over and over again every single day, and we're not seeing the rewards? Why am I not seeing the rewards? You may be asking that, but and you may think that you're working without reward, if there is such thing. But I just came to the realization that there's no such thing as work without reward. There's no such thing as working without reward. You will always be rewarded for your hard work, for your discipline, for your consistency. The thing is, the differentiation is the thing is that the reward you're looking for may not be the reward that you achieved or that you were granted. You may wanted to go pro, you may want to be pro at this certain time, but you haven't gotten as yet. And it's not that you've been slacking, it's not that you've been slacking because you've been disciplined. It's not that you haven't been sending emails because you've been sending emails, you've been cold calling, you've been doing all those things. It's not that you're not doing what's needed. You're doing what's needed, but why hasn't the reward came? The reward isn't theirs yet. But the reward they're looking for isn't theirs yet. But a certain reward fill that spot, and the reward that fill that spot could be patient, could be you being more stronger mentally, building your mental fortitude, you being more disciplined, and I think I said this already, but being more patient. And patience as a reward is the biggest reward that you can get. It's the biggest reward, because while they're working and they may have achieved a certain thing, you're just working, not looking on the results because you have so much patience. Working, then bam, you pass them. You don't even realize you're passing them because you have so much patience, and the goal that you want to achieve is so far beyond what they achieved. They didn't realize they already surpassed them, and that's your reward in disguise. It could be patience, it could be you being more observant, because observation is a good reward, and you can't get observation until you realize you keep on getting hit at a certain time. So now you have to take a step back to observe, why am I getting hit at this certain time, and then bam, that's your reward. You gain more observation, you gain more insight into things. No matter what we do, there will always be reward. The reward that you're looking for, but the reward they're looking for may not be the reward that comes or is granted to you. But however, there's no such thing as work without reward. The only work without reward is if you started and you stopped. Then you would never be rewarded, because then therefore you stopped. But in the grand scheme of everything, every work that you do every single day, every good deed, every positive, everything you did that was needed, and that left a positive impact on your life or everybody or somebody's life around you, it will be rewarded. And it may have already been rewarded, but the reward that you're looking for don't always mean the reward that will come. So there's no such thing as work without reward. Every work, every discipline, every trial that you overcome, you will always be rewarded. And the sun will shine the next day. It may be raining today, it may be nighttime where you're at, but it may be storm, windy conditions, but the sun will shine, and you will be rewarded for your perseverance, for your discipline, for your patience, for your humility, for your willingness to go the extra mile. Keep going.